Everyone. So I was wondering what to talk about like usual, and this topic came, and I thought, do I really want to talk exactly about this? But I was talking to Colm yesterday, and it was like, yes, talk about this. So he didn't say it, but I felt after our talk I should talk about this. So as you can see, this. You may think these two attempts to leave the church were a failure because I'm still here, but they were actually a great success. And this is what I want to talk about. So if we go to the first slide, yeah, it's more like a testimony. So there is no reading. I thought I shouldn't bring a speech of mine to read. It's a bit arrogant. So maybe we don't do a reading today. And a lot will become clear through the service anyway. Why did I join the church? I had no plans to join a church. I had no desire to join the church. I was not looking for a church. I was looking for things like meaning, and I had many questions. And I grew up in a communist country, so yeah, kind of the concepts of life in a communist, like atheist society are very depressing. Like you have to believe that life has no purpose, no origin, no meaning, no direction. There is no goal. We're all just animals, and we can treat each other. On one side, there is the expectation you should be a moral citizen, so we have to treat each other well. But on the other side, there are no moral values. They change with whatever the party decides every day. So like many of you may think the church is like, restrictive, but the Communist Party is far more restrictive. The communist country is far more restrictive. And I grew up in one. And I always felt there has to be something more to my life. Like I couldn't answer the questions, why am I born in this time and in this age? Like I thought I would have loved to be born like at the time of the cowboys because of all the romantic cowboy stories. But then I thought, actually, life is quite scary at the time of the cowboys. People just went around and killed people like indiscriminately. So I thought, anyway, maybe I don't want to be born at that time. But why am I born in this time is a big question. And I had no answer. So when, many of you know, like I read my own poem and figured out I'll die at around the age of 20. So I had to figure out if I had 2 years of life, what would be the important things to do in life. And I don't know why, but love came as the really most important thing. I felt like if there is one thing that you want to experience in life is love. So if you can find someone to love, like really, like honestly, genuinely love, there is no more meaningful thing in life. Even as an atheist, I could conclude this. So when I met the church, I found all these people that first they were nice, then they believed in God, which I thought was very stupid. But they were not joking about it. So I thought, here I am thinking these are idiots, but they take this very seriously. And they're obviously not stupid people. Like when you talk to them, they're not stupid people. So there has to be more to this topic than just they're idiots, like this is kind of shallow. So I thought, okay, let's learn about God. So if we go to the next slide, that's me learning about God. That's how it felt anyway, because like when I went first time to the center, they did pledge in the morning. So they bowed and I was the only one standing. So I also bowed to the ground. I had no idea why. They were bowing and I had no idea why I should bow, but I bowed anyway. So then they fasted and they were like, do you want to fast? I was like, if you're fasting, I'll fast. Why? I didn't know, but I said, okay, I'll fast with you. So they went fundraising and one day, me and my sister, we joined together the church. She left later on, but we were together for a long time, and we went to this center to help out. We all wanted to help with something, so they said, somebody's preparing fundraising products, so you can help out. So we were preparing all these roses, and the guy prepared all the roses and said, okay, let's go. And I was like, okay. So we went out, he went to the city center, and he's like, there's a bunch. You go to this restaurant. And I'm like, okay. I was terrified. I never sold anything in my life, but I went in and I asked people, completely embarrassed. But I thought this is this is something I would have never done in my life, and I felt it's such a concept, not cracker. It's like just blew up all my concepts that I had about life, what you could do and what you cannot do, that I thought this is very interesting. Then I spoke English. So when they gave lectures, we had British missionaries in Bulgaria. We were sister nations at that time. So I translated the lectures, and I translated from morning to evening. So like I was shared among the tables. So I'll translate tens of lectures every day by different lecturers, like with different understanding of the principle, different examples. And I found this very fascinating, that everyone had a different, like if you ask 100 people what God is or what the principle is, you would get 100 answers. And this was not a bad thing. Like it just was the way they were. Yeah. And then people started to leave the church, and they were all my friends, brothers and sisters. And I always felt I couldn't get it. Even my physical sister left the church. And I just felt pain. I didn't understand why they have to leave. But they had their own reasons. But anyway, doing what people did as they followed God or they believed in God, and they thought like this was important to God, what they did. And when I did it, I also found out that there is a God, like you can relate to a God. And also one thing I found is that like the seriousness of it's like a human being. Like if you want to build a relationship with someone and you're just like, hi, 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 that's not a serious relationship. That's not a good relationship. And you can think it is. You can say, yeah, but I said hi every day. But if I ask you, what do you know about this person? You'll say, I have no clue. I said hi, and that was it. Many times I think about the people I love, when I pray about them, I feel like, can I see their face? Do I even remember their face? Did I look at them long enough to see the face and to remember their face? And sometimes I'm shocked to find out I actually don't know what they look like now. I remember what they looked like a few years ago, but I don't remember what they look like now, which means I was talking to them, but I was thinking about something, and I was quite shocked, that, yeah, it's not simple to have relationships with people. And it's not simple to build a relationship with God. You really need to invest into it. And I decided, despite what people decided for themselves to leave the church, I decided I actually want to stay, hang around longer, and see what else is there. So if we go to the next slide, this was a very heartbreaking situation, but I had this experience with my own parents. There was a moment in life when I understood they were not perfect and they were lying to me. And it was about 11 years old when I was shocked by this fact. Before this, I thought they were like, actually, I never thought anything. I just knew they were like, I never had any questions. I knew they were true, and then suddenly they were lying, and I was like, oh, this is so devastating. I was heartbroken. And then I realized in the church is the same thing. You can follow people thinking they're like better than you or more knowing than you. But then you realize they're not. So when I did all the conditions, formula course, and went to different projects, I soon realized that the people that I thought like my able figures, they were not superheroes. They were human beings, and they all had challenges and difficulties. And it was very difficult to understand that I cannot follow them absolutely. And I didn't know what to do with this. So I felt I have to walk alone in a way, and I had to read the books on my own instead of just following people and try to figure things on my own. And I didn't see true parents many times, so in my life, like less than 10 times. So you can say I don't even know them, So it's a very like you can say he's a lunatic, just believing and doing things. So the missionaries left from Bulgaria, the British missionaries, and when they were there, we had a goal to save the nation. And I felt, yeah, I want to save the nation, And I felt, oh, that's a good purpose. That's a good. And when they left, we suddenly had no goal anymore. We didn't want to save the nation. We were just wondering what to do and how to manage. And I thought, this is very depressing. Do I really want to stay in this place or not? Yeah. So I decided I should probably leave. Like God doesn't need me, And it wasn't that the church didn't need me because I didn't join because of the church. I joined because I wanted to find about God. So as long as I felt God needed me for something, like I could fast or pray, for some condition, then I had a purpose. When I felt there was nothing of meaning that we are doing, then I don't have a purpose, and there is no reason to stay in the church. So if we go to the next slide. Yeah, sorry about the misplacements. I thought God doesn't need me anymore. Also, the feeling is like when you think about God and how much God needs to do and how many people there are in the world, you always feel like surely God is busy. Like I'm not that important. He's probably somewhere like saving lives and making a difference. And, I'm this insignificant person. Why would God even bother to spend time with me, especially if I have no purpose, and I have my own kind of goals, and I feel the church, I don't know what to do in the church. But strangely, God said, when I prayed, God said that he doesn't share my, if we go to the next one. Yeah. So I thought God probably doesn't need me. I thought God was busy saving the world. But when I prayed, God said no to both. And this was really confusing because I was like, what do I do with this now? Like there I am feeling like I can leave this place, go find a job, do something meaningful, whatever that even means. Like the more I thought of it, the more I was like, I don't know what it means to do something meaningful in life if you're not with God, like if there is no deeper meaning. But people find jobs and do stuff, and they say this is good, and it's like they feel important, and then they become professors and politicians, and it feels very important, and some become rich, and this also feels very important. When I look at them and say, are they happy? Then the answer is not so clear, and sometimes it's no. So I thought, it's very confusing. What do you do in life? I was sitting there thinking, what do I do with my life? So then next slide. Like this is the kind of messages that I was getting. Why does God need me? First of all, I'm a son of God. And this was a hard thing to accept because there's many reasons like why I fail as a person, But God doesn't see me as a failed person that doesn't deserve to be a son of God. He sees me as a failed person that is trying to be a son of God. And he's looking for that moment when one day, I don't know when that will be, but there I'll be, and there he will be, and I'm his son, and he's happy, and I'm happy, So he gave me talents that the world needs. And this is another thing that I thought, what kind of talents can I possibly have that the world needs? But there it is. Like he didn't create me by mistake. Like this is like, I know God doesn't do things by mistake. So I must have been created for a reason. And I must have talents that the world needs. And I needed to grow to learn. I needed to, like God had purpose for my life, not just for the providence and true parents and the church and the UPF and Family Federation. Me, I have a purpose. And it's my responsibility to find a purpose, find meaning together with God, and make something out of it with my life. I needed to develop my heart, and I needed to how to learn to breathe love, because the principle says in the spirit world you breathe love, and life on earth is so you learn to breathe, so you don't suffocate in the spirit world. When you know how to love, you cannot move and you cannot breathe in the spirit world. And I thought, this is interesting. It will be not good if you cannot breathe. So I thought, I really should. Maybe this is important. I still don't know what exactly this means, so don't take it like now I know and you can come to ask me about everything. But principle says it, and I'm like, it probably doesn't say it by error. That you need to learn to love. So next slide. Like I really thought, like when I joined the church, I have to like the purpose is to follow. Like follow through parents, follow the leader, follow this, follow that, do this when they say bow, bow. And I thought that everybody had special abilities. So if I follow them, it gave me purpose. And also I felt like I didn't really have to do anything, just follow. And it made sense. And as long as they were smart, as long as they were like, I don't know even what, but it's kind of a funny thing. You have to follow the leader. And when you follow the leader, is it because they're smart? They weren't always smart. Are they sinless? They weren't sinless. But like when you join the church, you follow and you don't think about these things. And then I thought there were always special abilities. And when they started living, I thought this was very confusing for me, because I thought they were super people. And then they weren't, and they didn't want to be. So then what should I do with this? Or even with myself? Like, if we go to the next one. Can I be the hero of God in my story? And this was very interesting, because I thought, like when I read all the stories of the central figures in the Bible, they were all special to God. And when you read like what they did with their lives, it was like, were they really successful? Like, not really. Like they had really miserable and messy lives, but when it mattered, when they were called, they never said no. So everything else in their life was like a river carrying all kinds of garbage down the mountain. But then when the right moment came and God called and God needed something done, they stood up and they said, here I am, God. And I felt I can do that. I don't feel special. I don't feel especially talented, but I feel like, if God needs me, I would like to be the person that says, okay, here I am, use me. And I thought I was just ordinary person. I mean, I still think I'm ordinary person. Average. I don't fit. I really find I don't fit easily or at all sometimes. I thought love is like everybody else. Love is like for special people and lucky people. I probably never find love. So I cannot be the lucky one. It's like, what are the chances you will win the lottery of life when lottery is rigged? And we all believe these kind of things, but I decided I want to be special to God. Like, even if I'm not special to anyone else, I want to have this relationship with God that no one knows about. I'm standing before God and I'm like, here I am. And to me, it's special. And I thought, if the Bible is correct, and if God never forgets anything special you do for God and wants to bless you 1,000 times back, because not many actually want to be in this position to do special things for God, I thought I don't need a lottery. If you can have a 1,000 return on your investment, I don't think there is anything better that you can invest in life than a relationship with God. So I thought, I love this. I will invest in this. And it's not like to anyone around me, if I explain what I'm doing, they have no way to understand. And actually, I felt this is a nice thing because they don't care anyway. I feel people are busy with their own lives, busy with their situations. Even if you try to explain, like they don't get it. And, so if you don't make some special effort and make some special meaning in your life on your own, if you expect value from others, it doesn't come. Like no one will say, "Oh, you're so special. You're so, oh, you're so amazing." Usually doesn't happen like this. So I thought, okay. Then I decided it was important to love first. Like if you love first, like first of all, it feels like a waste of energy if you love first. Why would you love first someone that doesn't deserve to be loved? But if you love first, you have to have love to love. So it kind of pushes you to find enough love and enough inspiration in your own life to be able to love someone. And when you love someone, it automatically makes them indebted to you. They owe you. And you can say, I don't need anything in return. And this is such an amazing feeling that you can free someone from owing you something. Like it's an incredible feeling, that you can give someone something, you can love them unconditionally and say, I don't want anything, pass it on, love someone else instead. If you find someone that needs your love them. Like this, don't just give it and don't ask anything, like this kind of pass it on mentality. And then I decided, okay, I'll try to make something every day. And some days it doesn't work. Some days it works a lot. Some days I can meet few people. Other days I don't meet anyone. Some weeks I don't meet anyone at all, or months even. But the strange thing is I still felt useless even when I do this, because it's like you do this and it feels like nothing's coming back and it's such a waste of time and people don't care anyway, even if you love them. And, so if you go to the next slide, then you come to the conclusion, I'm an idiot. Why am I doing this? Why am I wasting my time loving people, giving and forgetting, And then I come to the same point. I was an atheist and I thought only stupid people believe in God. So why am I doing this? Like there's even more reasons. Why on earth are you doing these stupid things? Why are you loving people? And yeah. And I thought people who believed in God were idiots, and now I'm the idiot, And you're like, that's not a very pleasant place in life to be, to find yourself in, especially like when you're not a young person, So if you go to the next one. Yeah, so I decided I will leave the church again. And the first time when I left the church, I didn't leave the church. I left it more like in my mind. I said, okay, you know what? I'm fed up. I'm leaving now, And then I imagined life outside of the church, And now the second time came, and I was thinking the same. I'm not going to be a fool. And I'm not going to waste my life in this church. That was the feeling. But because I joined the church not because of the church, but because of God, I decided I'll talk to God again. So there was an opportunity to do a 40-day fundraising condition. And I thought, yeah, okay, I'll do this. And every day I will look for, should I stay or should I leave? So if we go to the next slide. Actually, I felt like every day I was coming to the conclusion there is no point to stay in the church, and but then because like when you conclude that there is no point to stay in the church, you start to think, okay, what shall I do? Like you give yourself the freedom to think, okay, now I can do anything. What shall I do next? And I start to imagine, okay, by this time already many of my friends who left the church, they had their own life's careers, and my sister had her own career. And I was listening to her stories, and she sounded like she lived in a sect. She left the sect, so-called cult, church, whatever we want to call it. Like the derogatory terms are sect and cult. But she went to a company. She wasn't in a different religious organization. She was in a company, but her boss was God. And the laws were formidable. And you had to come on time and perform certain tasks to a certain standard. And if you failed, you were Satan and you were judged. And I was like, okay. So if you're in the church, this is the kind of experience. And if you're outside the church, the experience is not very different. So, but why am I doing this in the church? I'm doing it because of God. And why am I doing it outside the church? I'm doing it because of money. I want the money, so money became my God. And I was looking at my friends and I was like, are they happy? And no, they weren't. They felt depressed. They felt oppressed. They felt forced, abused. And I was like, there is not much choice in life. Though this is very strange. It doesn't matter where you are, in what kind of organization. If you choose to feel this way, you will feel this way anywhere. And then I realized it doesn't matter where you are. You can choose to feel different anywhere you are and become a person that, even if your boss, kind of has crazy demands, you can say, I'm the owner of, this is my goals. This is not my boss' goals. I'm the boss of my boss. I will do things. It doesn't matter if the boss asks me. I will do things because I want to do them. And I was in the army, and I did army service for 1.5 years. And this was army is a very unfree place. Like if there is unfree place you can go to, army and jail are probably the two most unfree places you can go to. And it gives incredible joy to your superiors in the army to torment you mentally. Like when you're a new soldier, they feel it's their obligation to crush you mentally, emotionally. So they do things to you that, they make you clean toilets that should not exist, but you have to clean them, like there's no way you can clean this toilet, but you have to clean them, And I spent 1.5 hours cleaning this toilet to the extent that they thought this guy's there's nothing to clean for 1.5 hours in this toilet. But I was scrubbing with chlorine and bleach, and this toilet smelled like nothing it smelled like before. Then they sent me to move some wood, like some mountains of wood you had to put in the trucks, and I did it with joy. And they couldn't crush. I was the owner of this. They weren't my boss. They sent me to do a job, but I would do it better than I expected and better than anybody else. And I found that anywhere you are, you can have this mindset. You can have the mindset of an owner, or you can have the mindset of a servant and a victim. And it's your mind that you decide. And the moment you decide you're an owner, you're no longer a prisoner to anything. Doesn't matter where you are. And this is where I understand true father in Hyungnam and in all the prison. And this is where I understand true mother at the moment. She's the owner of this place, and she's gonna shake Korea like they have no clue what they got themselves into. The whole world is being mobilized because of this situation. And unless she's there, it will not happen. But unless she's there with this mindset and this attitude, it will not happen. But we have the same possibility to have the same attitude in any situation. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to stay in this church. But I'm not going to stay as a follower. So if we go to the next slide. Yeah, anyway, I talked about that the thought was if I leave, I'll be happy, and life will be romantic, and it's not like this. So I decided to stay. If we go to the next slide. So I'm going back to God, you know. So in my mind, I left the church. I explored the whole life. And now I decided, no, actually, the church is the place that God wants to work through. So there is no other place you can be if you want to work for God, like at the center, at the core of the providence. And I thought, that's why God wants me here. You know, it's not meaningless. This is actually the thing that I can do that makes most difference in life. So I can be the source of love. I can be the source of wisdom and meaning and purpose if I'm with God. Like, I don't need an inspiration from somebody. I can be this person. So the church is not perfect. The people are not perfect, but true parents work hard day and night to make a difference. And I realized when I was on STF, especially because I met every year about 100, these were the best years of STF, so about 100 people joined STF per year. And you met all their, well, not all parents came, but many parents you met. And also when we traveled around the teams, we stayed in families, so I met many families. And the one thing I was really impressed with is it doesn't matter how externally unsuccessful or miserable the family felt. Like most of the time it was they feel about themselves this way. They're not successful, they're not rich, they're not, you know. But when I looked at what they did in their life, I thought, these guys are really making effort. And I felt incredible respect for them. And I felt it's so sad that no one is there to tell them you're making an incredible effort. And you should look at yourself and feel proud of yourselves because you're making an incredible effort. It's not easy. Like, we're the first generation of, after thousands of generations that met true parents for the first time in human history. We heard the divine principle for the first time in human history. We know that true love exists for the first time in human history, but everybody who was supposed to follow true parents didn't when they were prepared to follow true parents. So everyone who followed true parents were people off the street that had no clue what they were doing. And of course they messed up again and again and again and again, but they were making effort. So every one of them made incredible foundation for God in their life from a sub-zero situation because they were not the prepared people. All the prepared people of 1952, they didn't follow true parents because of the way Christianity dealt with true parents. You know, they had no chance to know about true parents. So, like, I thought my grandfather would have been first gen. All my grandparents should have been first gen. So I should be third gen. But here I am, I'm first gen now. And what shall I complain about the world? No, I can say, okay, thank you, everybody, for making effort. And let's make more effort. So if we go to the next one. Yeah, I feel I can help. Yeah, and feeling that you can help God in the church is actually amazing because you don't feel like a follower. You feel like an owner. This is my church. Don't talk to me. This is my church. You know, I'm the church. This is the feeling. I don't have to be a member. I don't have to be a leader. I'm a child of God, and I can be a friend in need, and nothing really else matters. Like, nothing matters, you know. This is me, and you can say whatever you want, but that's me. And Nothing Else Matters was my favorite song. Oh, L. I missed the L there. Is my favorite Metallica song when I was young. I used to listen to it a lot because it kind of helps you think what the world does doesn't matter. Like, what you do matters, you know? And when you decide something is important, everything else disappears anyway. You know, if I do photography, I can't cook at the same time, you know? If I cook, I cannot do photography. You know? Yeah, if we go to the next one. So yeah, then I returned, but this is not a glorious journey. It's full of temptations because I'm a human being. We all are. but I ask myself this question, especially when it's about career and money, because many times, not many times, but like when the most important people in your life say you are a failure because you don't have a career and you don't have money, you feel like maybe I should have a career and money. But then I asked myself this question: how much money and property do I need to feel success? And when I look at people, how much some have, they still don't feel successful. They never feel successful. And the reason is because God created the universe for me. Like if you own a house, you become a slave to the house. You can't own the universe. Like unless you, like true parents, like they own so many property, or the church owns so many properties, but nothing belongs to them. Then you're the real owner of things because everything is public anyway. Like when I was on STF, I was sleeping in a van. Not in a van. I was sleeping in a front seat of a van, for all of you who went fundraising. And I was quite fascinated when I was falling asleep and praying. And suddenly I realized you need only, not you need, the only private property you have in life is 2 square meters of space. Everything else is public property. Because in order to sleep, you need 2 square meters of space. And this is even fitting your luggage. That's because that's how much luggage we had, like very little. So like you need 2 square meters. Everything else is public space, And I thought like we're so lucky to have houses or apartments or where you have like more than 2 square meters. But people lived in the past in like 2 square meters per person, and they grew up as a family. They did well in life, and and they didn't think they were poor because this was what life was then. And I was very surprised, like there in the van, realizing 2 square meters is all I need and all I actually own as a person. Everything else is public. So I thought I'm a very blessed person to have more than 2 square meters of space. Yeah, and the other thing was with temptations. Like this is something that really baffles me. Like many times when I look at women, I feel like incredible inspiration. And I wonder, like, where is this coming from? And like I have this kind of developed this ability to ask questions like as I'm walking. Like I can ask God, I can pray as I'm walking. So when I look at the beautiful girl or a woman and ask the question, why is she beautiful? I start to get, like after years actually of asking, God starts to give me the real answer. And the real answer is she's my daughter. And like in this answer, there is like the whole universe was created because of her, And that's every single person, Like if you can see a person with the eyes of God, like kind of in communication with God, it's an amazing being. Like the whole universe has meaning because of this one person, And it's to God is non-negotiable. Like this is not like maybe it's like this. No. To God is like for everyone, he created the universe. And the value of this person is bigger than the universe, And I think like it's such a pitiful life that we don't live thinking like this. Like if you looked at your spouse and you saw the daughter of God, like the actual, like Holy Mother Han, and with all the, spiritual meaning behind, providential meaning behind, all the like universe being created for this one person. And here you are, the caretaker of the son or the daughter of God. And if you could look at your spouse this way, and if you can be looked at this way, suddenly divine principle starts to make perfect sense. I feel like, wow, this is an amazing life. And sometimes when I'm with my wife, I try to have this and look at her with the eyes of God. And there was a picture many years ago when they were discovering the universe, not the universe, the boundaries of the universe. And a very strange article came out, which I thought was mind-blowing. They said that when they measured the distance between Earth and all the galaxies, the shape of the universe had a human body. Like it looked like a human body. And I thought, this is very we're like on an atom, on an electron, on an atom, in a human body, which is God's body or whatever we want to call it. But it just sparked my imagination. Like this discovery sparked my imagination, and I thought, what if someone lived on an atom in my body, and they thought I was God. And I thought, maybe I should behave better, this kind of feeling, anyway, this is me and my crazy thinking. So if we go to the next one. Yeah, anyway, this is the idea that like I feel as a man, I have a purpose, and I'm looking for my purpose. And honestly, if I'm looking just on my own, woman has no part of this purpose. Like my wife is like, yeah, I don't know where to put her, like if it's just my purpose that I'm looking at, and sometimes I get the same feeling from my wife. I wonder, like she has so many, like she has this incredible ability to find out that I'm wrong, to the extent where I feel God must have made a mistake by creating me, but when I dwell on the matter, I realize that it's yeah. Anyway, I wrote a book about this. Men are analog men and quantum women because we process data differently. But that's a different Sunday service. But God's plan is because the universe is quantum and analog, it's material and spiritual, and it's not designed that you can separate them. They're functionally intertwined. So men and women are functionally intertwined. Like we don't make sense without each other, even though we don't make sense together. Like if you look from purely like humanistic point of view, we don't make sense together. Doesn't make any sense. Like my mother and father divorced because they just didn't make sense to each other. Like my father was always wrong, and my mother was a witch, and she was crazy because the things she said, she always came and said, "Oh, we have to do this," like confidently. And my father is like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because we have to." And he's like, "Doesn't make any sense." And later on, many times it came that my mother was right, but there was no explanation. So my father could never reconcile with the fact that my mother was right. And he was not raised to believe that he should consider, like, I mean, Bulgaria is a Muslim, kind of very heavily influenced Muslim country by history and communist. So women don't really have a high status to be considered as people you should consult with. Just shut up and clean the kitchen or cook, and this kind of attitude, traditionally, and my father came from his father is from a Muslim village, so like the tradition is very much like this. So my mom's opinions, no matter how right they were always wrong. So she was always a witch, and she was always crazy, and he was always stupid to her, and this is the conclusion most people make. Most men and women, when they live together, when they cannot find a higher purpose for their living together, they come to this conclusion, but God actually didn't create just individuals. Like we are supposed to be families, we have to build societies, nations, world, universe, and in this way we connect back to God. And this is the programming of our life. Like we are programmed, designed to live this life. So like, because like through my leaving the church, I gave myself the freedom to do whatever I wanted in my mind. And many times, like when I felt attracted by a woman, I felt like, okay, let's explore this possibility theoretically. Now I'm living with this girl and it's all romantic and nice until it isn't. And we go into a routine. And then you have to face building a family together, sharing a budget together, making decisions together. And I was like, well, this is repetition of what I already did. And what I've done already, it's kind of, I've kind of come to terms with a lot of things about my wife. I kind of know her character. I feel like I'm happy with this. Not always. We have like moments, but generally I feel, especially when I pray, I feel like everything makes so much sense. So I don't really want another movie like this. Like, because every time you start a relationship, it's like a movie, like that starts and it's romantic and, but happy end, like to have like an American style happy ending of the movie, you can only have if you are fully committed to the relationship. So you can choose to be fully committed in the first relationship. Like it doesn't have to be the 10th or the 20th. It can be the first one. And it's our choice. So I feel because God is trying to build this kind of in me, like a son of God. Son meaning like a person that can understand God, that God can share his heart with me. I feel like leaving the church twice. And sometimes now when I get fed up with the church, like when Champo Moron comes out, I'm like, I'm leaving this. I'm leaving this church. I don't get it. I'm leaving this church. But I just distance myself spiritually, and I say, okay, let them run with this for a while, and I'll check in a year to see what happened. And usually they've settled down by because we've seen so many things like Black Hungjinim. We met a brother in Korea, and he said, "I survived Black Hungjinim," and we thought we should make T-shirts like this. I survived Black Hungjinim,
Struggling with the Champo.
I survived Champo Moron. I survived even the family pledge. When family pledge came, like so many people complained. We had the my pledge, and True Father was Lord, and and suddenly like we were like true parents, and people were like, no, we cannot be like true parents, and we survived that. We survived the creation of Family Federation from a church, and then dismantling the church, and yeah, true parents keep us on our toes, that's for sure, and God. So I'm very happy I stuck around. Yeah, so, and I miss the people that left, but I don't think you really leave, because you can't live life. So, yeah, like sooner or later you feel like, maybe I should calm down and do something meaningful with my life. I don't know if I'm doing it, but I feel like it makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you, but yeah, to me it does. And it gives me the freedom to stay sane because I don't have to follow anybody. It's like, it doesn't matter what the leader says. Like, if they come and say something tomorrow, I feel like, you know what? Take a break. You can keep talking. I'm not going to listen now for a few months. And then when I'm in peace with my mind, I come back and I listen to you again. And usually the message has changed already. It's become more like normal. And then I'm like, yeah, I can understand this now. I couldn't accept champion for many years because I felt we failed. And that's why True Father had to create champion. And I really felt I want to have an honor in front of God. I want to stand before God and say, I fulfilled my responsibility. And here we are being given champion because we failed. And it took me 3 or 4 years to make peace with myself and God that, okay, I understand we're not strong enough and we have too much negative influence. So we really need help. So I'm like, okay, I can go to the hospital. No, fix me. So, yeah, so if you feel like overstressed, give yourself a break. Like life is long enough, you can find a way. So I'll offer prayer. Loving only parents and true parents, thank you for this exciting time that we can live in. Thank you that we can be the first generation and the second generation or the third generation of this age of incredible confusion, where everything is uprooted, everything what was normal for thousands of years is no longer. And we have to figure out what this means and where to go with our lives. But it's also an incredible age of blessing, and we really want to stay within the realm where we can have a relationship with you and we can grow as people that identify as your children and identify other people as your children, and make sense of how to live a life from now on in a world that we can call one family under God. And we all have a mission. We all have a purpose in this. So please give us the love, the faith, the strength, and the wisdom to overcome any obstacles in life with a victory, and that we are not crushed by life and the challenges, but we come out stronger, clearer, more loving, more confident, and really people that can trust themselves and others can trust as well. So we want to thank you for all your guidance and protection, and we pray that you can be with us through this day and through this week. I offer this prayer on behalf of our family, the Tina family, following Holy Malacham. Thank you.